Well, hello everyone. I am Darla Tweeten, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Iowa. And I am running just a little bit behind. I apologize, but I'm kind of feeling kind of techie right now because about an hour ago, I did another live video on items or projects that we had completed using the wonderful, beautiful Celebration free products. When you place a $60 order or a $120 order during Celebration, you get to choose free products from Stampin' Up! And I apologize for just a minute. I am trying to check my notebook to make sure that what you're seeing is what I want you to be seeing, not what I think you're seeing, but what I want you to see. There is a big difference sometimes, as you can tell right now. My camera is kind of goofy, isn't it? And so I won't talk to you much longer, but you know, at this view anyway. I'm trying to scoot back a little further so my face isn't mega huge in the camera, but yet keep the stand kind of situated so when I turn you down to my work surface, it's the right way I want it to be. So I'm gonna be kind of goofy. Those of you that know me know that I'm kind of a kid at heart, but I have this little lamp, you guys, this little ring light. Isn't it cute? And it came with I'm calling it an Akron stand. I think that's what it's called. But anyway, I've had this darn stand for, I don't know, and I call it darn just because it makes me happy. It makes me frustrated. It makes me with all of those feels. But anyway, it came with this light. And on the back of the thing is, you have to charge it. And on the back of the thing is a little power button, okay? But you guys wouldn't believe how bright this is. Are you ready? Cover your eyes. Look at how bright that is. And look at, I can have a white ring light, and then it dims it a little bit, and then it dims it to like a warm light, and then no light. So anyway, we'll be using this tonight. I think I've used it one or two other times, but it's not that heavy, but yet it's heavy enough that when I put it on my phone and my Akron stand, that's another work in progress. But what I was starting to tell you that the reason I was late is because I watched a little bit of the video that I did just before 7, and my hair was really flat. So I thought, well, before I do the 8 o'clock live, I have to look more presentable. So I went upstairs, put some product in it, and then by the time I got back down, I thought I could do that all in 5 minutes, but I was a few minutes late, so I do apologize. Thank you for being on time. When you do join the video tonight, please leave a comment that you were here, so I know that you're watching. I can kind of see if anybody's watching, and I can kind of see comments too, but when I get to making the card, it's hard for me to stay focused. So, but anyway, when you leave your comment, let us know where you're from, okay? That's always fun to know. So, without further ado, I'm going to scooch up here now, and I am going to change the camera so that it goes down to my work surface. What do you think of that? Okay, so now this is the fun part that I try to accomplish. I think I've given you a picture of what this little stand looks like. It's a very well-made stand. It has a lot of nice features. Okay, now I'm going to put this light on here. And I've got to remember where my picture things are. So what do you think? See, without that, see how dark it is? But when you add this, doesn't it add a lot of light? I think it does. Would you agree? So anyway, so this is my work surface. This is a glass mat that is a Stampin' Up! Product. It is available. It is very worth it. I absolutely love this. You don't have to have, other things to work on. And for me, myself, it keeps this much of my work surface free. So I don't, end up with it being just a small work area. So the card we're making tonight is this card right here. And I want you to know, I have people that ask me, they say, Darla, where do you get your ideas? Where do you get your inspiration? Well, I tell you what, I belong to a group, and anybody can belong to it. It's called CASEingTuesdays. And every Tuesday, they post a picture of a card from the calendar and the dimensions of this card. Now, if you remember, or if you have your mini catalog close by, the cover of the mini catalog this time, which goes from January to April of 2025, this card layout is this card right here on the cover. Isn't it just beautiful? But when you change one thing, you can change the cardstock, you can change the DSP, or maybe even the stamp set. You totally get a different look, don't you? Both of the cards are beautiful, and both of the cards, they're easy to create. When I start stamping, I usually like to have in mind a recipe that I'm going to follow, okay? And I did post a picture of this card, and I kind of wrote it over here. On this glass mat, you can write with your markers. And then, so while we're talking about markers, there's a fine tip end, and then there's a paint end that you can use. And this is Misty Moonlight. And then, so what I've written is that the base layer is, just a piece of 8.5 and 11 cut in half. And I have it hot dog style, so it opens up like this. Okay, the second layer is 4 1/4 inches by 5 inches. The third layer, which is the DSP, is 4 1/4 by 5 inches. The third layer is the piece of okay, I said that wrong, you guys. The third layer is actually the DSP, the 3 by 4 inches, because the second layer is the embossed basic white layer. So then the fourth layer being the 2 1/8 inch by 3 inches. Kind of got ahead of myself. I apologize for that. So this card has the card base, which is pumpkin pie in this case. Then it has the second layer, which is the basic white that's been embossed with the birchwood. I'll show you about that. The third layer is the DSP, which is 3 inches by 4 inches. And then the fourth layer is the sentiment label, or the tab part. And that's 2 1/8 inches by 3. Okay. What I wanted to show you when I was, kind of scribbling on this glass mat is it does come with a chamois, okay? I store the chamois in one of our stamp cases that you can get from Stampin' Up. And so this chamois is always ready to go. And because I want to be careful and not wipe off other things, you would just go like this then and wipe off the coloring. Isn't that kind of cool? Okay. So if you're just joining me now, this is Darla Tweeten, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Iowa. My business name is tweetbehappy, and obviously coaching creativity through the love of cards and crafting. That's kind of my tagline. And if you see products on here tonight that you would like to order, if you would order this host code, that would greatly help me. You would enter the host code 2PWBFDM4. Now, if your order is over $150, do not enter that code, as I want you to collect the Stampin' Up! Rewards, which is 10% of your order, or you would be able to order another $15 of product. So, comment that you're here watching me tonight. Let me know where you're from. I would really appreciate that. I go back and I read all the comments later. I can't do both at the same time. So I do have, I do lives every other Tuesday. And so my next lives will be March 11th and March 25th. I will be out in North Carolina on those 2 Tuesdays. So I'm not sure just what the lives are going to look like, but I am planning to do lives right now. So there'll be lives from North Carolina. I'm going to be staying with my nephew and my niece-in-law. So I'm going out there with my sisters. I have one more remaining class for the month of February, which is this Friday, the 28th. You do need to RSVP by tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock to attend the class. That gives me ample time to get cardstock trimmed and the costume set up. So I will not have March classes because I will be gone, obviously. But my classes will start back up again in April, and they will be April 18th and April 25th. And they're always on a Friday, the third Friday of the month. They're always on a Friday, and they're always from 2 to 4 o'clock. I do ask that when you're attending my class that you bring an adhesive kit. I do have these available for purchase. When you come to my class, you can pick one up if you don't have one. It just makes the class go a lot smoother if you have your own tape, your own glue, your own scissors, your own take your pick tool, okay? I think I've gotten the business portion pretty much out of the way. Thank you for your time tonight. So we're going to be creating this card tonight. And I'm going to put that card. Oh, one more thing. Sorry. I need to tell you about celebration. If you go back up in my feed a little bit or go down, you're going to see that I just did a live. And maybe I already told you this now that I think I did. But we only have 3 days left of celebration. So just shameless plug that if you see something in the celebration catalog or in my video, if you see some cards that you liked, please place your order by Friday. We also have an excellent join special right now going on. If you have an order that's going to be close to $100 or over $100, I will let you know, or I will highly encourage you to consider becoming a demonstrator for the starter kit of $99. So for $99, you would order $125 worth of product, and you would get free 2 sets of markers free. You would also get a stamp set, and you would get a paper pumpkin kit, and plus business supplies and catalogs. You would get all of that for $99 if you did it by Friday, February 28th. There is no obligation. You don't need to sell like I do. You don't need to do videos like I do. You don't need to teach classes like I do. If you want to be a discount shopper, saving 20% every time you shop. That's why I want you to become a demonstrator. Especially if you're someone new that's just starting up with this craft, 20% really helps you save dollars. So I'm always available for a phone call. Give me a call if you have any questions on celebration, if you have any questions on my classes, or if you have any questions on anything, give me a call. Or call me and ask me for coffee. Okay, so what we're going to do is, this is pumpkin pie card stack. And tonight we are going to be actually making, I thought I was only going to make 2 cards. I think I'm going to still keep it at 2. Okay, so this is the pumpkin pie card stack. We have pumpkin pie, we have pecan pie, and we have peach pie for colors. Can you believe that? And the DSP that I'm using tonight is only available until Friday, and it is the fruit salad DSP, which is 6x6 paper, and there's 48 sheets in a package, and each piece of paper has 2 different sides. So there's all of these choices available, okay? And you can see here all the coordinating colors, lots of colors. So it is fun to create with the designer series paper, because you can decide, okay, do I want to show these oranges, or do I want to show these oranges and lemons, okay? I'm going to use this side. This one, we're going to do the muskmelon, or you could just do, I've stamped on here, or you could just do the green. So you always have choices. So what you want to do with your card base is you want to take your bone folder, and if you get an adhesive kit from me, this bone folder is included in the adhesive kit. Now, the adhesive kit can be anywhere from $50 to $80, depending on how deluxe you want to make it. But the essentials are, the first level of essentials is about $50. The second level of extension of essentials will run you more like $80. And then you'll have all the tools, most of the tools that you will need, okay? So we have folded our card base of pumpkin pie. Our next layer is going to be the basic white, okay? And that is the 4 1/4 by 5 inches. So you can see it doesn't show much of the card layer. This is totally personal choice at this point. If you want to show more of the card base, you can trim it down and make it smaller. But because I'm following the recipe tonight, we are going to keep it the same. Now, I'm hoping I'm going to reach down here, and I'm going to bring up my Stampin' Up! Embossing machine. This is the large one. I like the large one the best. There is a mini one too that you can use for when you travel, okay? So what you would need to do is, it comes with several layers that you do put your to raise up your paper. You would take your embossing folder and put your white cardstock in there, and then you would run it through your embossing machine. Do you guys remember, I'm going to show my age here now, but do you remember in high school we had mimeograph machines? The teachers would run copies through before they had copy machines. That's what this kind of reminds me of. So then when you have ran this through, and always run the folded part through first, but when you run it through and it's done, it comes out and it has either embossed or debossed this basic white cardstock, or whatever color you choose to use. Okay, I'm going to put this back down on the floor. This is another necessary tool, in my opinion, if you like to add texture to your cards, this is very essential. So that is something that you can either save up to buy, or you can use your part of your rewards. Our program is going to be changing on April 15th, where our customers and us demos, we will be able to get rewards on every $20 increment. They have not totally told us all the ideas or all the details yet, but rather than earning at 150, it is going to be our goal that we're changing it so that you will earn $1 for every $20 of products that you purchase. And also, you don't have to use the rewards right away like you do currently. You can let them accumulate, but you do have to use them within 1 year of your purchase, okay? I am going to put down a little piece of paper because I don't want to get things messy. And I had my grandson here over the weekend, and he loves to use my card stack. So I'm not afraid to reuse it after he leaves. You know, I'm loving that he's spending time with me and that he's being creative. So what we're going to do now is, these are called sponge brushes. So what you do is you just run it in, you know, wipe it into your pad, and then kind of take off the main part of it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to just highlight the embossed part of your card stack, thus giving it even more texture than you originally could have. And since I know that, you know, our design is going to be pretty much in the center of this, I'm going to go a little heavy on the outside of the card. And then I'm going to make sure and do the bottom. And there's no wrong or right way to do this. You can do it as light as you want or as heavy as you want, okay? So this is a sponge brush that I'm using. When you go to clean these, you just use water, and most of the ink will come out. It will be stained, but not even that bad, I don't believe. And then you can just reuse these stamp brushes. I don't know how many come in a package. I can't remember if there's like mini sponge brushes, and then there's other other sponge brushes. If somebody's watching and they have the details, if they could look that up for me and let me know how many come in a package. But let's say it's 4, let's say it's 5. Anyway, so I would reserve this brush for my oranges and my reds, okay? I wouldn't use my blues or my purples on this one. I would use another one for that. So this is what this looks like now. And the card that we are making is this one right here. Can you see how it would have been just a white otherwise, but it just elevates it, doesn't it, to do that embossing layer first, and then to sponge the ink onto it, just elevates it. So we're going to go ahead and close this ink pad right now. This is pumpkin pie ink, and you close it like that. And then on that chamois that I showed you earlier, you can wipe off this brush if you'd like. But what I prefer to do better is take it to the kitchen sink and just run, you know, hot or cold water over it, and it cleans it very nice, and then let it dry. Okay, so we have done that layer, which is our second layer. I'm gonna put that extra back there. We are going to now take our Seal Plus, and we are going to adhere this to the card base. You can use liquid glue. I have better luck using the the Seal Plus. I prefer that. It's to each his own. So that is the second layer going on there. And then here's the second layer of the second card. Now look at this. Do you notice that I'm doing 2 cards at once? Anybody can do this. Now, sometimes when I score, they aren't always the what do you call this? They aren't words are hard. They aren't straight. So just take your bone folder and boom, it's straight. Okay? I'm surprised I didn't notice that beforehand, but oh well. So then, so I have the Seal Plus on the back of here. You could use dimensionals if you want to on this layer, but I know that we're working with about 4 layers, so I choose not to use dimensions at this point because it'll just make my card thicker when I go to mail it, thus maybe costing more postage. So, okay, so now let's move on to our third layer, which is the beautiful DSP. I've decided I'm going to use these two sides, and I am going to pull from the Baker's Twine. It's a 3-color pack. I'm going to pull the Lemon Lolly at this point. You can see it's been my favorite. Don't have much left. I hope I have enough for these 2 cards. I usually measure about 13 inches when I tie a bow. I might do a little bit more since I'm on camera. You know, on camera, you never know what's going to happen. So I've cut 2 lengths of, let's say, 15 inches, and I still have some twine left. Woohoo, that's great. So put that back in there. I really try to put everything back where it belongs when I'm done, and everything has a place. So what I'm going to do here is we are going to tie the bow on this DSP. And to make it easier, I'm going to run some adhesive, just a little bit, just to, you know, secure it down. And I don't have to worry about it sticking to my glass mat at this point because it's a glass mat. Now, if I didn't have that glass mat down there, it would be stuck to the paper. And that would not be good, would it? So go ahead and tie a bow. And kind of tie it big. Don't tie it small. You know what I mean? Because you want it to be, it's decoration on the card. So then you just play around with it. And that would be our bow then. So, whoopsie. So then we'll go ahead and tie the bow again on our second card. And I probably am putting a little bit too much adhesive. And what I tell my grandson is you take it and then you put this down in the middle. And I'm kind of leaving it more towards the left-hand side, if you've noticed, because my bow is going to be over there to the left-hand side. But you can see that it may work and it may not work. If I would have put a little bit less amount of adhesive on the back, I maybe could adjust my bow a little bit, you know, to more to one side or the other. I have, there, okay? So then you want the bows to be obviously about the same size, and you want their tails to be about the same size. So I'm just pull down the center, and then you can get that. So here's our next 2 pieces. So you can see that they are on dimensionals. So who knows what dimensionals are? Dimensionals are these little octagonal items. They are double-sided. They have a backing on that you're going to want to pull off. But for right now, and then I always just kind of put a dimensional on top of the ribbon just to secure it even more so it stays in place. So can you use too many dimensionals? Nope, nope, nope. But I usually use 4. Sometimes I use 6 like I'm using tonight. So I have found a trick for taking the backings off easier because Darla doesn't have any nails. So what I like to do is just take your pick tool and just poke it in, and then the backing comes off very nice. So, and then I usually keep a little, I have a Lazy Susan here on my table, and I have one of these little things that I put my garbage in. So let's go ahead and put the oranges and the lemons on this first card. Always make sure that your card is opening right. You know, you don't want to go to all that work and then have it be upside down. And then I kind of put this, the sample showed it being at an angle, which adds interest to your card. And then you're going to want to make sure that your ribbon is going, you know, up and down. So let's go ahead and take the backings off of these dimensionals. Can you believe that we're doing 2 cards at once? Mass production. I have done as many as 5 at once. I'm just double checking because once in a while, this lighting is really good. It's almost too good. I can't tell whether it's off or on. So we'll go ahead and put our muskmelon or cantaloupe. What do you call it? Do you call it muskmelon or do you call it cantaloupe? So again, if you like this video, make a comment, you know, select the like, and then also if you would share it, that helps me grow my business. I was trying to figure out where this other tail went to. It has to be one of these, and I wasn't careful and it's stuck on my dimensional, isn't it? But that's no big deal because you do have a few minutes to pull this out. There it is, okay? Just let it know who the boss is, like I tell my grandsons. Who's the boss at this house? And they'll say, Grandma's the boss. So, okay. So how about that? We've done our 3rd layer now. Our next layer is going to be this little piece of white cardstock. And you can see in the example, it's been like a tag. There is a die that cuts out the tags, but I don't have that die. So what I just do is I cut to one side, and then the piece, I flip it over so that they're the same. What do you think of that trick? So then you go like this. But I know I didn't mark the center in haste. So on my next white card, I will mark the center. So it's not really a point, but I'm okay with it. So what I should have did was measured on this glass mat. Can you see at the end down here? There's numbers right here. 0 through 13, see the numbers? I could go like this, and it's 2 inches. So then 1 inch would be the center. So just mark it a little bit, and then go back to trimming your thing, and it's got to be a point. So then you go like this to the center. Take this piece that you just trimmed off. Now this is a tip. You guys, I did not come up with this. Somebody else showed me this tip. And if I could remember their name, I'd give them credit. But isn't that just magnificent? Then obviously the mark is on the back. So then this becomes the front. So that's how we make that tag. Oopsie, I tore that one. I like to break down the fibers a little bit because I wanted this to have kind of an antique or rustic feel to it. So I will kind of you know, just kind of break down the paper fibers like I said. Okay, so you can see on this one, I also sponged it because I wanted it to have some color. So I'll bring back my scratch piece of paper here because I'm afraid that I will get color on my glass mat, and then I'll get it on my completed card, and I don't want that to happen. You could be risky and not have this, but I don't want to do that. I enjoy making cards, but I don't enjoy when boo-boos happen. But believe me, ask the gals that come to my classes, most mistakes can be fixed, either with a gem, a splatter, whatever. Now, remember, I had this tear in this one. Do you remember that? Okay. The tear is still there. I didn't throw this piece of paper away because of that tear, did I? It's right there. See that tear? Yeah, it's going to be okay. Okay, so we've used that sponge brush again. I like adding color to my cards that I make. I love giving them character. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take the Spotlight on Nature stamp set, and I purchased the bundle, which is the stamp set plus dies. The Spotlight on Nature is 163579, and it is on page 69 of the annual catalog. Can you see that? And it's $23. So this was carried over from the 24-25. So is it still on page 69? Yes, it is. So when I wrote that down, that note, that year should be 25-26, okay? But here's the Spotlight on Nature. There are bundles that you can purchase. You do save 10% when you purchase a bundle. So the stamp set and the dies would have been $58, but if you buy them as a bundle, you save 10%. So that's on page 69 of our annual catalog. This annual catalog is going to be done the end of April. We'll have a new one coming out in May. But this has been just a big, huge delight. I wanted to show you what the dies look like. We are going to, there's different size dies that you can cut out. And what you do is you select the die that you want. You put it upside down on your paper because these, you want the rough edges to cut out the design. And then you run it through that Stampin' Up! And Emboss machine. This is a great bundle, a great die to purchase because there are 12 dies in this set. This is one set of dies, and you can see where one large circle has, you know, these just little straight lines on it, where the other large circle has, I'm going to call them little leaves. So, and this is just a sample that I've cut out. That would be this die. It'd be this die right here that cut it out. The second one on this page. Okay. Then this die is what we're going to actually use tonight. And that is the second one of this page right here. And it has a dash and a dot. It doesn't have the flowers or the lines like some of the other dies do. So that is Spotlight on Nature dies, okay? That number is 163580. 163580. But like I said, buy the bundle, you guys. The bundle is 163581, and it's $52 for the stamp and the dies. And they're they're a great. I love them. I love them. I'm a nature person, and I like, rustic look. I like easy dyes, and this fits all of those. So I was just trying to figure out, I embossed, or I raised up, I used dimensionals on this next layer. Okay, so this is black memento. When all of our stamp pads are stored upside down, so the ink is always at the top of the ink pad. So what we're going to want to do here is, I have taken the stamps out of this stamp case. Now this is a rubber stamp. I prefer the rubber stamp. I think they give a better image. But the photopolymer stamp sets, which we're not using tonight, you can see better where they're being placed. So, but we're going to go with this spotlight on nature, and we're going to stamp a butterfly like that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, very light-handed, and then go straight down and straight up. And when you get done with your stamp, find your chamois and just kind of rub it off into the chamois. This particular chamois, it's a larger one, comes with the glass mat. And if I remember right, the glass mat's like around $52 or something like that. Includes that, the mat, and then there's also a little pad that comes with it. So you can see this stamp set's pretty clean, isn't it? And to always tell if your stamp set is clean, just try it on a piece of paper and you can see it's clear, okay? So we've stamped 2 butterflies because we're doing 2 cards. The next thing I want to do is take this dear friend, and I want to stamp that in my black memento, and I will stamp it towards the bottom of our tag here. So I go like this. And so I'll go 1, 2, 3, straight down and straight up, and that looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and clean off this stamp. Try and clean off your stamps right away, because you may use another color, and you would hate to have the black memento go into your pumpkin pie. That would be very nasty. So what we're going to do next is I've got a piece of scratch paper back out here again, and don't be nervous. I think I've got everything under control, but I am going to take this texture stamp, and we are going to have some fun with it. We're just going to kind of catch the corners of the stamps. That's why I wasn't worried about that piece that got torn, because it just fits in with it, doesn't it? So kind of keep when you use your stamp, try to turn your stamp so that the angle or the position is different than the last time you stamped. So there. So that's that. So we are done with the black memento. Almost done, but for right now we're done with it. And I'm going to wash off this stamp. Actually, I am not going to right now, because we're going to decorate the envelope. So we have this tag, and see, here's my tear. You could tear it again if you wanted to, but we're not going to. So then what we're going to do is we are going to take our dimensionals again. Now, when you buy an adhesive kit, the dimensionals are in that kit. I consider them to be an essential. We have regular dimensionals, and then we also have mini dimensionals. So depending upon the size of the product that you're using. So put that back in my case, put my scissors back in there, take your pick tool, because I don't have fingernails. Plus, it's just really, really handy to do that. This take your pick tool is used a lot when I make cards. So, okay, so we are now ready to put on our tag, I'm calling it. And remember, we wanted our bow to kind of be off to the side. So then you would go something like this. Don't worry about keeping it straight. That's the beauty of putting these pieces on at an angle so that you have an enjoyable experience and it looks great. What do you think so far? Do you like our cards? So we've made 2 cards. It's been about 45 minutes, but I've been doing a lot of other stuff too. So I think we're moving right along. Now, I added this little thanks here at the top just because I could. So what I did was I took one of the smaller one of the smaller scallops, and I used my pumpkin pie again to tint it just a little bit, giving it some personality. And then what I did is I stamped the thanks in black memento just at the very top, because we're going to have it just peeking through. So go ahead and put that like that. Can you see what I'm doing? I think I'm off the screen, aren't I? So what I did was just stamp the upper half of that circle die cut. And you can see I got a little bit of ink on the glass mat. No big deal. Just take your chamois and wipe it off, okay? So then let's put the lid back on this. And what we're going to do here is we're going to cut this one in half. Pardon my reach. We're going to just cut this off in half. You could tear it too if you want to. We are going to take the adhesive. Excuse me, I dropped that. Sorry for the noise. Put the adhesive on the back of there. Put my adhesive inside of my adhesive kit. And look at this, you guys. We're just gonna have this poking out at the top of this card. It just gives it just a fun little touch, doesn't it? So put this thanks at the top of there. We're almost done with this card. We're going to add some embellishments. Another way to use this take your pick tool is there is a putty end on this that helps pick up the gems. Very nice. Always put your gems in odd numbers. And kind of like make a triangle too, if you could. So boom, boom, boom. So my next one, and these hearts are 3 different sizes. These hearts have been very nice. Adhesive back heart sequence is what they're called. So we need to put another heart on this other one, and we're going to put it over there. So I've made the triangle there, and then I've made the triangle there. So this is our card. I can see on my original one, I did put the granny apple green gems on there from, let's see, what's that pack of jewels called? I don't have it handy right here. It should be handy here. Let me see where it's at. Anyway, or you could use these antique pearl gems. You could color a couple of, or color 6 of them, the granny apple green. I like that a lot better. I think it complements the green, brings out the granny apple, but the hearts aren't too bad either. They're okay. They're okay. So that's what sometimes happens when you're doing live videos, isn't it? You sometimes don't do the same thing. So the last and kind of really neat thing I'm going to show you tonight is I have a lot of this DSP left. And don't hoard your DSP. Use your DSP up. So what we're going to do is we are going to put this muskmelon DSP on the label of this envelope. So then when they receive the envelope, it will be matching. It will kind of give them an idea of what's inside of the envelope. So what I do is I just run just a small amount of glue on here. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 of them because we're making 2 cards tonight, aren't we? So we got 2 envelopes to do. I always store my glue up like this so it's ready to go. And then you would put your DSP on the envelope. Let that dry just a little bit. And the matching one for this other one is right here. I don't have enough of this lemon and orange paper, so since this background is so close to that, I'm going to go ahead and use this one on here. And if you do have some glue that, you know, kind of squishes out, don't be afraid to take your chamois and just tap it. You could also use your embossing buddy too to make it so that it's not sticky anymore. So the last step of this will be to grab your scissors. Stampin' Up! Has very good snips. This is a very old pair of Stampin' Up! Scissors that I like to use. When I joined Stampin' Up!, or actually before I joined, when I was going to card clubs, we had to actually trim the red rubber around the stamp images. And this is what that pair of scissors is from. But because my hands are large and I'm starting to get, you know, arthritis, trigger fingers and stuff, I really like the larger handles. So that's why I've hung on to this pair and it makes it fun to fussy cut around envelopes or around objects. Okay, so there's our card, you guys. This is a 2.5 by 6 inch piece of DSP that I probably wasn't going to use up before February 28th. Now I have a matching envelope to go with my card. If you want to, you will need to put a piece of basic white cardstock in the side of here to write on. You can decorate that. You can also stamp something if you'd like on your envelope too. So there's our 2 cards that we've made tonight. I said that I had a story to tell you about this casing number 500. The group that does the Casing Tuesday for, I wonder if I can take a picture at this point. Can I take a picture? That'd be a neat picture, wouldn't it? Has my host coat on it and all of that. Anyway, I'm playing squirrel. But anyway, they were going to select 2 people after they had submitted their cards last week, and then they would let us know today before they posted today's card of the winners. And they chose my card. I was so honored. So I get a gift from Casing Tuesday, and believe me, it's going to make me love them even more that they chose this card out of, I don't know how many submissions there were, but I thank the gals for choosing my card and for making my day. And I want to close this video tonight with God bless you all. This is Darla Tweeten, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Iowa. If there's anything you ever need in paper crafting supplies, and if you don't have a demonstrator that you're working with, I would love to earn your trust. I would like to remind you that celebration closes on Friday, the 28th, which is in 3 days. I have a class if you'd like to come and create a card like this, but not this exact card because it is simple stamping on Friday, please RSVP by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. You can reply to my events section on my Tweet Be Happy page. I do have a blog, and I am starting to upload my videos to YouTube. So if you would like this video, and if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, that would be great. God bless. Thank you for watching.